In this video, I'm going to talk about projectile motion. So you'll understand what is projectile motion, how velocity changes during the path, how high the projectile can go, how far it can go horizontally, what can be the range of projectile, intuitive understanding of angle of throw and horizontal distance traveled. And we are going to understand the relationship between angle of throw and horizontal distance traveled. What you need to understand, all these are actually very much the part of this playlist, physics by example, graph and animation for class 11. And I'm going to put this after this particular stuff. If you are reading in sequence, you'll find it easy and more interesting. However, here also in this video also I'll cover majority of the things so that you can relate to the concepts. So now let's get going. When a projectile, a particular object is thrown, let's say an arrow is released from the bow, it actually travels like this. So you look at here, its direction is changing when it is almost at a point when it is just horizontal, then it actually starts going down. So till here it has gone up, the angle kept changing. Whatever was the angle, this angle is more close to the horizontal, this is more close to the horizontal, it is absolutely horizontal. Then it actually starts going down, so the angle starts going negative. So essentially this is how the direction is changing. Look at direction. This is whatever is the angle. If this is 60, then probably this is 45, then this is 15, this is absolutely 0, and then this is actually minus 15. If this was 15, this is minus 15 because it has gone into the negative direction. Then this is actually minus 45, and then it is as good as minus 60. So the angle of the velocity is changing. The direction of the velocity is changing this way. One more thing, you look carefully. This is actually slightly more than this. This is slightly more than this. This is the least. Then actually this magnitude starts increasing. This is slightly more than this. This is slightly more than this, and this is slightly more than this. So why it is happening? How the magnitude is changing and how the direction is changing, that's what I'm going to explain. But before that, do you really believe that when you throw an arrow, it actually behaves this way? Let me prove it to you, because the best thing would be that you see it on your own. So let me actually show you in Olympic what happens when javelin is thrown. So here I'm going to show you from 18 seconds. Let me just make it full screen and let me show it to you. So when you are just throwing, just see it. Let me make it full screen and let me just show it to you. So look at this, let's look at once again. From 18 seconds, the person is coming, throwing the javelin. Look at the javelin's direction. So it is gone, it's gone, now it has gone down. It is almost like what I'm showing you. Let me show you it in slow motion so that you can relate to these concepts more. So now I'm going to play it in slow motion and just see once again that what is happening. So there person is coming, he is throwing. Look at the javelin, it is horizontal and then it is going down, and then see it has become more inclined. Look at once again, it was upward when it was thrown, it goes upward, the angle starts horizontal, and then let's see, it is going down, it is getting more inclined, and then let's see, it just shows very much what I have been showing you there. This is what it is showing. It went up, the velocity, the direction went a little more inclined towards horizontal, then it is absolutely horizontal, and then it starts becoming sharp and sharp, that you can see in the video. So now I'm going to explain you exactly that why it happens that way, that why the direction is changing, and also why the magnitude is changing step by step. So let's get going. So in fact, like if you're reading all these things as a series, you should find it easier. However, let me just quickly show you. If you are reading this through series, you should find it easier. However, for the sake of convenience, I'm going to repeat some of the concepts of vectors once again. So if this is the vector AH or AI, which is the horizontal component, this is the vertical component, it will lead to this kind of vector. And I had shown you practically that if there is a horizontal movement and there is a vertical movement, it is as good as another vector movement in this direction. And the reverse is also true. If there is a vector like A, you can say it is as good as there are two vectors AH and AV. AH is horizontal component, AV is the vertical component. So AH plus AV equal to A, or you can say A equal to H plus AV is the same thing. Second thing, how will you measure AH and AV? So essentially AH direction, you know, it's horizontal, AV is vertical, but you need to know. So if you know this angle theta, just apply the basic concept of trigonometry. Sine theta equal to height by hypotenuse. So height AV by A will be sine theta. So you can easily say AV will be A sine theta. Similarly, cos theta, which will be base by hypotenuse. So AH by A. So essentially AH will become A cos theta. So if there is a vector A cos theta gives you horizontal component and A sine theta gives you vertical component. Direction you know very well. Horizontal is horizontal, vertical is vertical. Now let's understand one more thing. Let's say if this particular horizontal component is same, but this vertical component is changing, what will happen? So essentially, if this is a vertical component in the second chart, just understand the horizontal component is same, but the vertical component has gone down. So what will happen? The angle, whatever is the angle will reduce, correct? And this will be bigger or this will be bigger? If you think of Pythagoras theorem, it says a square plus b square equal to c square. Here a is same, but b has become smaller. So obviously this c dash will be smaller than c. So if this is c and this is c dash is smaller than c. There will be some time when there is no vertical component. If it is going down, it is reducing all the time. So if this is, then it is reduced, and it's one moment it is 0. So there is only horizontal component. Then after some time, if there is always an acceleration in this direction, what will happen? It is reducing first, at one point is 0, and then it will actually start into the negative direction. So then the angle which was positive here will become negative. After some time, when it gains more speed, you know, the vertical speed becomes huge and it is in the negative direction. This will take it, this will become size is bigger. This size is bigger than this one. So if this was, let's say B, and if this is, let's say this is A, this is B4, and this is A, and this is B5. Because B5 is bigger than B4, so this C5 will be bigger than C4. So if you look at the resultant vector, which is here, it reduced, it became, here the pink line and the horizontal line will be same because there is no vertical component. Then the pink line increased. So here first it reduced, it became minimum, then it increased, and it increased further. Also the direction, it changes, it decreased, it became 0, and then it went into the negative direction. So if the vertical component is changing and the horizontal component is same, if it is thrown at a vector like this, it will go into the negative direction. If finally it achieves the same velocity in the negative direction. So this theta, if it was sent with 60 degree, it will come down at minus 60 degree from the horizontal. So that's the important concept that you need to keep in mind. Now let's understand how it is affecting in projectile motion. So if you are sending an object with u speed, you know, and angle theta, it can be said it has two component, u cos theta horizontal component and u sin theta vertical component. Now we will talk about this horizontal and vertical velocity one by one, and what you need to understand at the end of the day, the object is moving as if like there are two things moving, one in u cos theta direction horizontally and one with u sin theta vertically. So let's understand each of them one by one. I'll be showing in blue the horizontal and in the green the vertical. So let's understand first the horizontal. Let's assume that there is a negligible air resistance. In fact, there is air resistance and that calculation comes into picture, but that's beyond the curriculum of this particular level. So assume there is no air resistance. So in that case, the horizontal velocity, horizontal component of the velocity, it will remain same. It is u cos theta, and it will remain even after 1 second or even after t second. It is u cos theta all through. But vertical component is not like that. Vertical component will get affected by the gravitational pull. So what is u sin theta? In 1 second, it will become u sin theta minus g. And in t seconds, it will become u sin theta minus gt. That's how it works. The gravitational pull, if it is g, every second the speed by g amount. So in t second, it will reduce speed by gt. So what will happen? Think of u sin theta minus g, u sin theta minus gt. There will be some time when this u sin theta minus gt will become 0. It is actually till that time it is going upward. Till that time u sin theta minus g is positive, gt is positive, it will keep going upward. But when u sin theta minus gt will become 0, at that time vertical speed will become 0 and the arrow will become horizontal. After that, what will happen? Minus gt, so essentially it will start coming down, and over as the time will progress, this when it is returning at that time starting velocity is 0, but gt it will keep increasing over time, and the speed or downward speed will keep increasing. So this situation will become very much like what I was showing you here in this graph. So this reduces, becomes 0, then it goes in the negative, it further increases. However, let's just understand some more calculation. So the time when this becomes 0, that is the time, till that time it has gone upward. So let's say this time is t1. In that case, u sin theta minus g t1, where t1 is the upward journey, it will become 0. So t1 will be u sin theta by g. If you recall, I have shown in the earlier example also, very much in this section, that the speed with which go, with the same speed it returns downward when it is shown vertically upward, and also the time taken is same. But what I will do here, I will prove it to you once again, so that you can relate once again. So it has taken t1 time to come to stop upward journey, and how much distance it would have traveled by then. So if you look at, it is given by ut plus half at square. That's what is the formula, where u is the starting velocity. But here the starting upward velocity u is actually u sin theta. This was the, if you recall, this is the formula that we have used all the time. If you just talk about the u is actually u sin theta, because u is in this direction. So in vertical direction, the speed component is u sin theta. So u sin theta minus t1 into t1 plus half, and I have put minus because if I am showing u in this direction as positive, then minus g because it's coming in negative direction, into t1 square. Now what is the value of t1? t1 is u sin theta by g. Just put value of t1 here. You will actually get u sin theta into u sin theta by g. So it will become u sin theta whole square by g minus half into g, and u sin theta by g whole square. If you take a look once again, it is nothing but u sin theta square, u sin theta whole square by g, because in below will be g square, here it is g, so it will become 1g less. But this is half. So essentially what will lift over the upward component, the maximum height obtained by the projectile object, u sin theta whole square by g, and in the bottom half will come, because this is the 1 and here half is you removing. So essentially 1 half will remain. So half u sin theta whole square and bottom g, that's what will give you the maximum height obtained by the projectile object. Now how much time the object will take in downwards journey? Let's understand that. So essentially what is happening, as the time passes, the speed, vertical speed, then it becomes negative, it further start increasing like that. Now let's understand that if it has gone upward by this much, u sine theta by u sine theta whole square by 2g, then how much time it will take to downward journey. So this is the journey it has to travel. In the downward journey, when it starts coming, the initial state speed is 0. So what will happen? If it, let's assume that it takes time t2. In that case, 0 into t2 plus half into g into t square will become h, which is the u sine theta whole square by 2g. That was that much upward it has gone, that much it has to come down. Now if you solve this, just put this value. This is u sine theta whole square by 2g and half g. This t2 will actually be u sine theta by once again, because moment you put u sine theta by g whole square, this g will cancel and at the bottom 2g will come. Here also bottom is 2g. So essentially t2 is again u sine theta by g. So what you need to understand, it has taken u sine theta by g to travel upward and it has taken the same time to come downward. In fact, the speed is also bound to be same, but let me prove to you once again. So time taken in upward travel is same as the time taken in downward travel, and total time the object was in motion is 2 into u sine theta by g. This is the formula that you will use if at all people are asking you how much time it will take to travel. It is the time. What will be the vertical speed when it is reaching ground level again? So vertical speed, if you look at u plus at, here g is the acceleration and time it has taken u sine theta by g. So essentially this g gets cancelled, it is actually again u sine theta. So if you look at, it was thrown upward speed was u sine theta, and by the time it returned, it again got the u sine theta speed. Only thing is the direction changed. It was upward and this is downward. But whatever speed was the upward, by the time it returned, the same speed became downward. So that's how the whole projectile motion effectively gives you the direction, that how much horizontal distance it will travel. So if you look at the horizontal distance, the total time that the object was in motion is given by 2 into u sine theta by g. U sine theta by g to go up and u sine theta by g to come down. So if you look at how much the object will move horizontally, because horizontal speed is fixed u cos theta, so it will become u cos theta into 2 u sine theta by g. If you look at, this is actually u square 2 u square by g. Here it is u square is of only u, not the of the 2 u square by g into cos theta into sine theta. Now there is one important thing you need to understand. If the initial magnitude is same, how much it will travel, it actually depends on the this theta, because this is the variable component. So if this u is fixed, then this is the component also which decides how much horizontal distance the object will travel. And I'll prove to you a very interesting phenomena. What you need to understand, this sine theta component is related with the travel time. More the sine theta, it will take more time to travel, and more the cos theta means if angle is less, its speed in the horizontal direction will be higher. So lesser the theta, higher the speed, more the theta, lesser the speed in the horizontal direction. Lesser the theta, it will take less time to travel. More the theta, it will take more time to travel. In fact, it will take maximum time to travel when this theta is 90, it is sent vertically upward. I will prove to you once again, but before that let's understand two formula and then I'll show you side by side that what happens. So just a recap, if the horizontal component is same but vertical component is changing, this is how the angle is changing, this reduces when vertical component is reduced. At one point the angle is 0, then angle goes in the negative direction and then it goes further negative, and that's what you saw in the javelin throw also. When the javelin was thrown, it went up, it became horizontal, then it starts coming down like this, right? Exactly the same way. And I hope by now you are pretty clear that how direction changes, how direction is changing like this, that probably 60, 45, 15, 0, minus 15, minus 45, minus 60. And also you understood how the magnitude is changing, why this magnitude is maximum, then this is less, all those things, that is pretty clear to you now. Now let's understand let's solve some problem, because that will give you better understanding of the formula. So a ball is thrown at a speed of 50 meter per second and at an angle of 60 degree. Take g as 10. So how much distance it will travel upward? See, the maximum height of the projectile object will be given by u sine theta whole square by 2g. So here speed is 50, so 50 into sine 60 degree whole square divided by 2g. G is, for simplicity we are taking 10, so it is coming 93.75. How long it will go upward? U sine theta by g, 50 into sine 60 degree divided by 10, it's giving you 4.33 second. What is the horizontal speed? 50 cos theta, cos 60 is half, so it is 25 meter per second. And how far it will go horizontally? 2 into, sorry, it's 25 into, total time taken in the journey is 2 into u sine theta by g. The upward journey was 4.33, so 2 into 4.33, 8.66 is the total journey travel time. So 50 cos theta was the horizontal speed. With that it has traveled 8.66, so it will travel 216.51 meter horizontally. Now let's solve the same problem, but this time with angle 30 degree. So only thing that I have done here, I have replaced theta by from 60 to 30, and you see here it has taken it, how far it is going upward? It is going 31.25, which was earlier 93.75. The travel time, upward travel time, is actually less. It is just 2.5, which was earlier here 4.33. So look at, when the angle has reduced, the upward travel time has reduced, and how far it will go upward has also reduced. But look at vertical speed, horizontal speed. The horizontal speed is 43.3, because cos 30 is actually square root 3 by 2. It's giving you 43.30, which was here 25. And how much it will travel? It is traveling with a higher speed but lesser time. So it will actually travel 50 cos theta, which is 43.3, and it will travel how much? 2.5 second upward, 2.5 second downward, 5 seconds, 216. Now look at side by side what is happening. So if you look at side by side, the horizontal speed is more when the angle is less. Less angles means higher horizontal speed, because it is the cos theta component. Here velocity, vertical velocity is sin theta component. More the angle means higher vertical speed. Here it is 43, here it is 25. The time taken in travel is also, dependent on theta. More the theta, more time it will take to travel upward. In fact, it will take maximum time to travel when the theta is actually 90 degree. However, in that case, the horizontal speed will be 0, so it won't travel at all. What is the maximum height that it will take? That will also depend on theta. More the angle, more upward it will go. It's commonsensical. If you are sending it here, it will travel less upward. If you are traveling at a higher angle, sharper angle, it will travel more upward. And how much the distance it will travel? In both the cases it has come same, 30 degree and 60 degree. It's actually very interesting phenomena, and I'm going to prove more things around this to you. So understand it this way. Just understand the relationship between horizontal distance traveled and angle of throw. Let's understand three things that happens. The vertical velocity and time taken, more the angle, if it is 90 degree it is maximum, more the angle it will take more time to travel. Travel time will become more the angle. If you talk of horizontal speed, lesser the angle, more the horizontal speed. In fact, when the the angle of throw is horizontal, there is upward vertically, there is no horizontal speed at all. So this is what the horizontal speed. This is when you are throwing at 30 degree, this is the horizontal speed that you are getting. When you are throwing at 30 degree, this is the vertical speed that you are getting. This is the factor. This is actually sine theta. So it is giving you at 30 degree it will become 0.5. At 30 degree the cos theta component will be 0.86 kind of 85 kind of like it's coming. So more the angle, lesser the horizontal component, more the angle, more the vertical component, and more the travel time. But these two compensate with each other. And that's why if you look at the horizontal distance cover cos theta into sine theta, it actually shows a graph like this, which is maximum at 45. Whatever is at 40 is same as 50. Whatever is at 35 is same at 55. So essentially why it happens? Whatever is at, let's say 30, the same is at 60. Why it happens? Because the horizontal distance traveled, there are two components. The distance traveled will be same at degree theta and 90 minus theta. So essentially, if you are talking of 15 degree or if you are talking of 90 minus 15, 75, it's same. If you are talking of 30 degree and if you are talking of 90 minus 30, 60 degree, it's same. If you are talking of 40 degree, then at 40 degree and 90 minus 40, 50 degrees same. So if you look at both sides around 45, this because it's 0 to 90, so it's coming that way. As far as you are away from 45 any direction, it will be the same thing. So from 45, if you take 20 angle, it is coming to say 25. At 25, the speed will be the horizontal distance will be same as 45 plus 20, 65. Because at 25 also you are 25 and 90 minus 25 will give you again how much? 65. So the distance travel will be same for degree theta and degree 90 minus theta. And this happens because horizontal and travel time component compensate for each other. It is maximum when the ball is thrown at when the projectile is thrown at an angle of 45 degree. Now let's understand one more example because that will give you good understanding. So here a ball is thrown horizontally, this time horizontally, this direction, at a speed of 50 meters per second but from a height of 2 kilometers, 2000 meters. So the question comes, how much time it will take to travel to the base of hills, and take for simplicity take g equal to 10 meters. So because this direction it is starting with 0, so 2000 ut plus half at square, vertical distance is vertical speed in the beginning is 0, so it will come like half into 10. We are taking g equal to, in lieu of 9.8 we are taking 10 for simplicity. This t will give you 20 seconds. So in 20 seconds the ball will come down vertically for sure. But in that much time, how much it would have traveled? What will the magnitude of the velocity while it is touching the base of the hill? So when you are throwing, the vertical speed after 10 seconds it will become ut plus 8 u plus 80. 0 it is started, and vertical speed will become 10 into t, 10 into 20, 200 meter per second. And what is the horizontal speed? 50 meter per second. So what will be the magnitude of the velocity resultant? It will be square root of 50 square plus 200 square. This is coming 206.155. And what will be the direction of the where it will fall? If you think of in 20 seconds, because the horizontal speed is 50, it will actually travel 1 kilometer. In 10 seconds, because horizontal speed is 50, in 50 into 10 it will travel 1000 meter, 1 kilometer will travel. And what will be the angle of the throw? We know that okay, there is a horizontal component and there is a vertical component like this, so angle should be like this. Let's look at what will be the angle here. So here, the angle is like this. The vertical component is 200 meter per second, horizontal component is 50. So if this is the angle theta that we want to measure, this tan theta will become 50 by 200, and that's what will give us the direction, the angle with which it is falling from the vertical. From horizontal it will actually become 90 plus this theta. I hope you understood the concept of projectile motion and you found it very interesting. I'm also going to produce some supplementary videos, as I told, like gun example 1 I have produced, and I'm going to example on gun shot so that you can relate to the concepts of projectile motion better. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you have any feedback, just feel free to give. Be honest, it will help me to create better videos. Thank you so much for watching.